Thousands of young Kenyans took to the streets to protest against tax hikes and political corruption in the Gen Z protests, in which at least 39 people were killed. Kenya's National Commission on Human Rights recorded 82 cases of enforced disappearances in the period between the protests from June until December last year. Prominent rights groups have since accused Kenyan authorities of covering up dozens of alleged police killings, unexplainable abductions, and illegal detentions related to the protests.
What we are seeing are people in plain clothes hiding their faces, basically covering their faces. They abduct people in a very violent, very threatening or scary way, and then they don't even take them to police stations. So in the first place, those things should not be happening. But because it has happened, we need accountability.
The protests drew international attention, increasing calls for government's intervention. Despite this, the abductees were subjected to poor conditions and numerous questioning over their involvement in the protests.
They were essentially denied adequate food and water. They were held incommunicado. They were handcuffed, placed in very small, confined spaces. And for the duration of their 32 days of, abduction, they were repeatedly questioned on their activities as protesters. The people that abducted them did not identify themselves. It's widely considered by the country that these were police officers and that they were essentially victims of a state abduction.
Kenyan authorities have since promised to investigate the abductions.
It is required by law that where we are implicated as police, we don't investigate ourselves. It has to be done by an independent oversight authority. In this case, we have two. We can either have the Internal Affairs Unit, which is within the police, or the oversight authority, which is the IPOA. So it's not a yes or no answer.
Following the release of several abductees who were reported missing, there have been calls to seek answers.
I've heard that we have investigation officers. Please get to the core of this matter and let us understand that if it is not the police officers doing abductions or abducting people, then who is to blame? Who is in charge of these abductions? Who is sending you?
Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto has been criticized for the failure to stop the abduction of people in the country, despite mounting pressure to do so. Bonolo Maribe, SABC News, Johannesburg.